There's not one thread of solid proof that I've done anything to Jennifer.
There's no doubt in my mind that she's the best mother. Good morning.
We first met the Bush family in 1996.
So, Jennifer, you've been sick a lot, huh?
Yeah.
Tell me about it. What's been wrong?
I can't digest my food really good.
At that time, Jennifer was being treated for a digestive disorder that prevented her from absorbing food properly.
I have your snack. Will you try to eat or drink a little bit for me?
Yeah.
Come sit down and try.
But that's just the top of a long list of illnesses Kathy says her daughter had.
Do you know how many operations you've had?
30.
Sit down, take your hair out of your mouth. I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to give you a crew cut.
Start from the top, 5 sets of tubes in her ears. She's had her adenoids out. She's had her gallbladder out. She's had her appendix out. She's had abdominal obstructions, intestinal obstructions. She's had many feeding tube placements.
Do you know everything you need?
Kathy says Jennifer also had seizures and was hospitalized some 200 times.
Heparin, saline, syringes.
Okay, now lift your shirt for me. There you go.
Scars from dozens of surgeries marked Jennifer's chest, and she also wore a drainage bag.
We feel as though we have made the ultimate sacrifices for Jennifer, and then to be ridiculed and accused of such a heinous crime, it's unbearable, absolutely unbearable.
Getting good smoking gun evidence is very, very hard.
Munchausen expert Beatrice Yorker.
To me, the most important definitive way of knowing whether or not the mother is causing harm to the child is if upon separation from the mother or the perpetrator, the child's physical condition improves dramatically and they thrive.
That's what Florida officials hope to find out when, within days of being taken from her family, they sent Jennifer to this hospital in Cincinnati.
We haven't been permitted to speak with her since she left Florida.
When the Bushes returned to court 2 weeks later, they heard startling news about their daughter's condition.
Jennifer seems to be feeling absolutely fine. She's eating normally. She's having a good time up there. She wants the tubes removed.
The judge gave the doctors in Cincinnati permission to remove her feeding tubes immediately.
Are you happy about your daughter?
Sounds like she's doing well. Are you happy about that?
I'll fight them to the end. They could hold a gun to my head and said, either admit to this or your life is over. I would rather be dead.
After 8 hours of deliberation.
Okay, Mr. Foreman, has the jury arrived at a verdict?
Yes, we have.
Okay, would you pass the verdict forms, please, to the court deputy? Okay, Madam Clerk, will you publish the verdicts, please?
Yes, Judge. State of Florida versus Kathleen Bush. Verdict. The defendant is guilty of aggravated child abuse as charged in the information. So say we are the 7th day of October, AD 1999.
Mrs. Bush is remanded to the custody of the sheriff without bond pending sentencing.
Difficult decision for everyone?
Very difficult decision for all of us. Very difficult. Very emotional. Very emotional case. Very difficult to even talk about right now.
Stephen Jordan was on the jury.
We made the best decision that we could based on the evidence, and the evidence we found to be overwhelming. It was a combination of everything, the Tegretol, the histories that were given that didn't match. It wasn't just one thing that really stuck out. It was everything together.